Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's O'Neil from Tap to O'Neil, and another week, another $1,000. It's been a crazy week. This is probably one of the most volatile weeks of the year, I want to say. We had earnings coming up this week from many known and big companies. What was it? We had strategy earnings. I know you guys know I'm very heavily weighted and participated within strategy, and we had other bigger companies: Facebook, Apple, Amazon. All these big name companies had earnings. Not only that, but we had Jerome Powell speak this week. We had our 25 basis point rate cut, which I called out that we was gonna get. Um, and yeah, and we still have this looming government shutdown. It's been a very volatile week. So currently it's Sunday. We up $274 on the day. Not too much. We went up as high as $600 today. So we're currently sitting at $63,877. And let's see how we on the week. All right, we down about 4K on the week, $4,097.65 to be exact. But as you guys know, usually on Mondays the market pump fakes, so it gives us a nice push up in the beginning of the week, and then obviously with the amount of volatility and everything that was going on with earnings, the market definitely did sell off. So we was up as much as $4,000 this week, sitting at at $22.38, and then we went down as much as $8,788.72. That was right before the earnings. I think that was when Jerome Powell was speaking, and then once we got our rate cut and everything, it started to level out, and then we finished the week off pretty stable, pretty strong. Can't even lie about that. Yeah, but you guys know my portfolio is extremely volatile, so you're gonna see these massive swings up thousands of dollars and down thousands of dollars. Like I said, we probably been on a 3 to 4 week red streak, I want to say. But because let's see how many down on the month. Oh my god, on the month we down nearly $30,000. That's 30% drop in the portfolio. So you guys know we had as soon as we hit our 100K, which was on October 6th to be exact, we hit our 100K on October 6th. But ever since that, we just been selling off, and now we're down to a total $27,825. But it's a good thing because we got our earnings, and MicroStrategy definitely did perform better than the market projected, or just been people that's been projecting that MicroStrategy is gonna do, and it sounds sounds very optimistic for the future as far as what MicroStrategy is going to be, especially if Bitcoin managed to hit 150 by the end of this year. That's what the CEO Michael Saylor was pretty much projecting, that Bitcoin can hit 150. Will it hit that? I don't know, but if it does, that's good for me, and it's good for the overall market as a whole. So right now we got a buying power of $18,362. So you guys got to notice, I've been maintaining this margin, man. I got 11% margin buffer. I'll show you guys real quick. Yeah, I got an 11.77% margin buffer, which is about a breakdown of $4,599.80. Been maintaining my margin buffer, and part of that is due to adjustment that I made in the portfolio. I did sell off a decent portion or a decent position in my portfolio, and we'll talk about that when we dive in or switch over to the mobile version of the app. But currently we're at $35,715 in margin total, where our margin used is only at $17,290.27, which is really good, because I think the maximum margin I used was about $30,000. So given that we only using about nearly half that much, that's pretty impressive for me, because I definitely still have a lot more buying power, and I've been adjusting my strategy to purchasing or buying and down cost averaging into less riskier assets, and also hedging by investing into assets like gold. So let's go ahead and do our weekly $1,000 deposit. Get that out the way. $1,000. $1,000 into the visual just once review transfer. I mean, though, do you guys prefer me start the videos out hopping straight into portfolio? Would you like me to give you guys a nice little brief? I think it's better if I just brief you guys while we cover the portfolio. All right, so $1,000 is initiated. So let's see what the account is sitting at now. All right, we at $64,870 and $64,869.96. Buying power went up to $22,000. What, that was about up 4K. So we went from 18 to 22K. Margin total went up to 38K. Margin used went down $6,000, so it was at $16,290.27. We got a pending order, which I'm pretty sure it's a dividend that's going to be coming in as a payout. Margin buffer went up to 13.97%, with $5,599.80 of a buffer. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Crypto is pretty slow right now. It's moving pretty slow. If I might say myself, it's moving really slow right now. But hopefully I'm really hoping we need a green week. We need a green week. The reason why we haven't been so green is because we would have been really green. The market would have been really bullish if we got some indicators that we was gonna get a rate cut in December, but the market is kind of being cautious right now because we don't know if we're gonna get that rate cut in December anymore, and we still got this looming government shutdown, so we don't have the data to back up what we're gonna do, So this government shutdown is really affecting a lot of things, man. So I'm honestly ready for it to be over with. I know a lot of people are suffering, and shout out to everybody who's working, that has to work. I personally have some friends and people that works for the government, and it's not it's not a pretty thing, but I'll help out as much as I can. But man, it's tough. So let's go ahead and switch over to the mobile version of the app, and then let's dive into the portfolio. All right, so as I said, we sitting at $64,875.57. Buying power went up a decent bit. I'm definitely taking more advantage of my buying power by purchasing less riskier assets that have really a 25% buffer or 25% margin buffer. So yeah, and then as you guys can see, my options are going to be expiring this week. So a lot is weighed heavily into this week, and we do have some more earnings coming this week. If I'm not mistaken, Hood is reporting earnings. Palantir is reporting earnings. I think Nvidia is reporting earnings the following week, and HIMS. I don't have HIMS in my portfolio up, but I'm pretty sure they're reporting earnings this week. So it's gonna be another one of those weeks, and then like I said, we still have this looming government shutdown. I'm like, man, it's getting crazy. People's benefits is getting cut off, but these are how my positions is going. It's currently, I think we down on this position. Well, we was up $60, but it's going to be expiring this week. So whether we in the win or lose, it's gonna be, we'll see. But pretty much BITX has to at least go above $49, and $49. Why is it? So it has to go to $49.28 in order for me to break even. Why is it? So my max profit, in order for me to hit my max profit, it has to be above $49.50, because that's the the spread between this debit spread. So hopefully it does that, and we get our maximum profit and close this out. I know we had that open for a couple weeks, and then you guys know I do have a lot of calls on MSTU. I placed a couple weeks ago, probably about a month ago now. And then before we get into that, I want to show you guys something that I did. I opened up a new position, a new options play, and I'll deep dive into this probably into a part 4 onto my options trading video. But I opened up a straddle position on MSTU. The reason why I opened it up is because there was a lot of volatility, a lot of expectations of people was projecting that MSTU was going to sell off significantly. So in order to protect myself, I opened up this straddle position, specifically 3 contracts on a $4 straddle, which basically said that as long as MSTU stays below $3.32 and or above $4.68, I'll be in the profit. So I'll show you guys real quick what that looks like. So when it's above these prices or below this price, like say MSTU, I think it did touch $2 and high $2 this week. And then if it does break out and has a nice pump up to, let's go say past $4, I can also collect profits on the upside. So it's like as long as the ETF or MSCU doesn't stay stagnant or flat, I'll pretty much collect money. So it's a nice strategy to open up right before earnings to make sure I protect myself. So that's what I did. Currently up $99 on the total return, but this is definitely going to change when market does open up. And I still have these other MSTU calls. I had a MSTU call expire last week. I was trying to roll it out. I'm not too sure what happened. I think the seller probably closed out and got their profit. So I ended up taking a loss. It's saying that I took a loss, a realized loss of a little over $800. But even though I try to roll it out to the following week, which was this week, but we'll see how it goes. As I said, crypto's down right now currently, and then my gold position is down. Gold is sold off. I bought at the wrong time, man. I feel like I got some bad luck. I bought gold at the time at like close to the top, but either way, gold is gonna grow or go up over the time. So I'm okay with just buying in. I just wish I wouldn't have put so much into the leverage ETF for gold miners, which is Nugget, because I'm down $940, nearly $1,000. Got 30 shares. I was trying to make sure I capture that upside, but as soon as I bought in, it pretty much sold off. So I've been getting into GDX. MST, I'll show you guys my position on MSTU. It did show some signs of recovery after the earnings. Let's see on the week. So yeah, it went down as much as $2.70, and then after earnings, it pretty much has been going up, or it had a nice recovery. I'll show you guys real quick MSTR what it did. So yeah, in a day it went up nearly $15. And on the week it's down about $30, nearly $30, 9.8%. So it's been constantly declining. But like I said, I feel like this is a good buying opportunity. As soon as the market does start to, or as soon as the market has a sense of direction, we're definitely going to be going in the green for MSTU. So like I said, I'm just holding on to my shares and just holding it out. I can afford to hold out, on this position, even though like I'm down on the position. I'll show you guys how much I'm down. I'm down like 15K on this position. So let's factor in recovery gains. As soon as we get recovery gains, I'm going to be up like over $15,000. And then, if we factor in stock appreciation or ETF appreciation, I can be up as much as $15,000. So, and then, you guys know on my calls, I'm down about nearly $14,000, $1,357 to be exact. I did make a call. See, so this was the roll. I tried to roll it out, but I'm not sure if it closed out. But I did sell a put on MSTU, a 0 DTE put on Friday, which was October 31st. And I made what was it? How much did I make from this? I think I made $120 from this. I'm not sure why it's not showing right now. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, it's right here. So yeah, I got credited $120. This is pretty good for a 0 DTE put on MSTU. I seen that MSTU wasn't looking like it was going to drop below $3. And even if it did, I was going to be okay with buying those shares to help me dollar cost average down, but it didn't go, so it expired worthless, and I got to collect that $120 free and clear. Let's see what else we got. All right, Tesla had a payout this week. We have currently still $400. We don't dollar cost average into it, up $283.76 on the week. How much we get paid out this week? We got paid $45.21, which is about breakdown about 11 cents per share. And we hold 400 shares, as I mentioned. So you guys see something is missing in my portfolio. I did sell my MSTY shares. I got rid of my MSTY shares. I just accepted the loss. I'll go ahead and look up MSTY real quick. I accepted a loss, and I'll show you guys what the realized loss was on MSTY. So I got $4,600.16. Well, $4,616.35 cleared up within my portfolio, which gave me a realized loss of $3,440. Yeah, because I sold it at a loss, but you guys know, MSTY does pay you dividends even while the ETF is declining. So that isn't my full realized loss, but my loss was definitely outpacing the amount that they paid me in dividends. So I just decided to cut my losses. Yeah, I decided to cut my losses because there's no recovery for this. MSTY really fell out of the water with this one. When an ETF or stock really declines on yield max funds, they have a real hard time recovering. So it was definitely a good call. And the next thing that I'm going to be looking to get rid of is ULTY. ULTY, I'm definitely going to be looking to get rid of this. I think I'm kind of at break even right now, or close to break even, which is a waste of my money, a waste of my time, because I could definitely be putting this $5,400 to work a lot faster. See, I have an average cost of $6.17. Our payout this week was $93.33. So every now and then they keep dropping it down. It went from 10 cents to 9 cents, and now we're at 8 cents. So this is a breakdown of 8 cents per share on 1,100 shares, and that's only a payout of $93.33, falling below my $100 weekly portfolio, $100 weekly threshold for this ETF. So I'm definitely going to be looking to sell it this coming week, and probably make a bigger trade or a better trade, and that's going to definitely clear up a lot of capital within my portfolio. YMAX is one of my best performers. Even though we're down $76, I'm still net positive because of the dividends that I've been collecting on it, and this has been holding its NAV relatively well, only down about 72 cents on the month, and on the past 3 months is only down about 9%, $1.23. But yeah, it's been doing the best for me. This was one of my first yield max funds or ETFs. I have about $1,200 invested. Let's see what the breakdown on that was. So it's about $19.58, which is a really good dividend this week, which is a breakdown of 19 cents per share. And we only hold about 101 shares of this ETF. Let's see next. Coney's been lagging a little bit behind, but that's obviously in part due to crypto as a whole. It's at $6.36. We currently hold 400 shares with an average cost of $8.15, and our total return is $717. I'm pretty sure I'm at a net positive for this too. Our payout this week was $53.88, which is a breakdown of 13 cents per share on 400 shares. Next, Hooey. As I said, I think Hood is having earnings this week, so we got a dividend payout of $62 this week, and what was it? Yeah, $62 this week. With us holding 46 shares, and that's a breakdown of about $1.34 per share, which is extremely good for this ETF. This is one of the best performers. You guys can see my total return is $83.02, so we're up all across the board on this ETF. Last week our payout was $33. So yeah, so once they switched to a weekly, our dividend did decrease, but it definitely is gonna help us maintain our NAV a lot better. And PLTW, Palantir, is having earnings this week. This has been doing. I've been telling you guys about this. If I was to recommend any ETF or high yield and dividend ETF to get into, this was the one that I was telling you guys about. PLTW. It started out as an experimental position in my portfolio, and we're currently up with a total return of $326.29, which is close to a 10% gain. And this pays us weekly. And we're currently holding 73 shares. And our payout this week was $71.20. This does pay us out on Tuesdays. So the breakdown on that is about 99 cents per share, which is close to about $1 per share. And we currently hold about 71 shares well, we held about 71 shares. We gained about 2 more shares on that dividend reinvestment. So we're at 73 shares now. Uh, and yeah, that's pretty much it. As I said, GDX, I've been buying more dollar cost averaging into more gold in case the market does, in case the data comes out for the government shutdown, that once we open the government back up and the data comes out that signaling that we might be in a recession, the Fed is definitely going to be cutting rates rapidly, but the market is going to sell off as a whole. So gold is definitely a good asset that you might want to be holding to make sure you hedge against that downside risk. So our traditional IRA, see how much we did on the week. We up $31 on the week, not too bad. And we only hold these 3 positions. I'm definitely going to be fixing these positions a lot better this week. ULTY, we purchased this a lot later. I'm not sure if we're net positive. If we're not net positive, we're definitely close to it. Our payout this week from this was about $73.83 on ULTY. Not too bad. Not too bad actually, yeah. Past 3 months up 42%, up $1,500. I can't even be mad at that. Tech L has been the driving force of this. As I told you, it started out as an experimental position, bought at an average cost of $92, and we only hold 5 shares. So I should have just dumped into this because we're up 60% on this ETF. And I'll tell you guys a little bit of strategy, my new strategy going forward, but we'll dive into that in a later date. On our Roth IRA, as I said last week, we crossed over that. We're going to be crossing over $4,000 this week. On a day, we was up $10, and on the week, we're down about $5. On the month, up not even a full percentage, only up $33. We only hold SCHD, JEPQ, and SCHG in this ETF or this portfolio, my Roth IRA, and let's see year to date how we're doing. Still up 11.53% on the year, or year to date, and then on the year, or it's up 11.55%. So can't even be mad at those returns. Some of you guys been telling me I should be buying more into SCHD. I'll look into it. I'll definitely be looking into it. I'm hearing you guys. But like I said, this portfolio is not for me to be taking money out. I'm more so want to use it as a substitute for something like Social Security, because by the time I retire, Social Security is probably going to be non-existent for me. So I definitely want to be making sure I collect some type of income through dividends, which would be this Roth IRA portfolio. That's why I'm more focused on dividends rather than growth. Growth is more focused on my individual investing account. So let's go ahead and dive into the overall portfolio, see what that's sitting at now. All right, $73,327. I don't think okay, we are at $74,185.69. So that is the change. I know, like I said, these past couple of weeks we've been declining, we've been dropping a little bit, but if you are able to maintain when your portfolio dips like this, especially within my portfolio, you guys know I'm down about over $15,000 in this one position. So once we factor in recovery gains, or when MicroStrategy definitely does recover, which it does have signs that is going to recover, especially after its earnings and it's bullish. It's the CEO signaling that they're very bullish in the future. If not now, definitely in the future. I'm just hoping we don't get a recession. As long as we don't get a recession, we're going to be good to close this year out in a strong position. So yeah, down about $15,000. So when we factor in that $15,000 just for recovery gains, we're going to be up $15,000, which is going to put us close to $90,000. And then once we get stock appreciation or just growth or if we break out past our recovery gains, we're going to be well over $100,000. So this is what I was pretty much trying to tell you guys when it came to, or in terms of, the value in my portfolio. My portfolio is still easily valued at over $100,000. We're just in a down market right now. We've been kind of bearish this whole month, and a lot of my position is weighed in this one stock or ETF. And on this one day, we gained 2,700. which was Friday after earnings on Thursday. In one day, we went up 13%, which is $27,036. So my portfolio can flip in the snap of a finger. As long as the market goes green, we're gonna flip green and we're gonna do good. If Bitcoin manages to close out at 150,000 by the end of this year, that's gonna be crazy. That's gonna be a crazy thing. But yeah, we gonna be making adjustments. Definitely making adjustments. Purchasing a lot more. Dollar cost averaging a lot more. Changing up the strategy as we go. And that's the name of the game. Gotta be willing to adjust. Gotta be willing to stay down until you come up. Don't be rattled by these little, flips in the market and things like that. Things like this is gonna happen. You guys gotta stay resilient, remain resilient. And I can do this because I don't need this money. I don't need this money. I'm not saying I don't care about the money, but I'm just saying currently right now, I'm 25 years old. I don't need all this money. This is set for my future, and this is why I can invest the way I invest, because I'm not in a press situation where I need this money or I need the income from this money. I'm doing pretty good for myself right now in my life. I'm just trying to grow my wealth, grow my net worth, and I'm trying to provide you guys the intel, give you guys the insight to grow you guys' own wealth or just start investing in general. So yeah, this is pretty much it. If you guys got anything you guys want to add, make sure you guys comment down below. Make sure you guys join up on the Discord. I'll be making these call outs, give you guys some of the plays that I'll be getting into all throughout the week. And yeah, if you felt like this was useful or helpful in any way, go ahead, hit the like button, subscribe, turn on your post bell notifications, and without further ado, tap the on now, and I'm signing out.